mean, it is pretty sad that these guys fall for it, and they're making money on it, and they have these arguments and these debates, and then people that are real smart, they're arguing with them and making money too, and they're like, why is this even necessary? And they go, we've been indoctrinated, and they've told us not trust our senses, because we should, if the earth was moving, we should feel it. And I'm like, no, if you get in your car and you're doing 80 miles an hour or 20, you don't know the difference. You know when you take off and when you stop. When you're in an airplane and you're flying 700 miles an hour, you don't feel 700 miles an hour. When I was in Hong Kong, I was on the bullet train. I didn't feel 300 miles an hour. I was just like, wow, this is smooth. Yeah, oh, I know. It'd be like dragsters. They're total acceleration. You feel that. But once you're like hitting speed, even when you jump out of an airplane, you're in your arch, you don't feel 120 miles an hour, but that's terminal velocity. So these people that have never done anything, they don't have a passport or a telescope, and they're trying to tell us we've been indoctrinated and they lied to us. And one guy goes, they can't even prove gravity. And I'm like, first of all, who's they? And they don't have to prove it. They're trying to explain it. And they're like, well, how come water sticks to a ball? And they spin this tennis ball and water flies off it. And go, well, okay, first of all, if you take that tennis ball, get it wet, and then turn it so it takes an entire day to make one revolution, water's not going to fly off it. It will evaporate in a day. But so they're using different analogies. They don't know what they're talking about. They're going, like, we're spinning 1,000 miles an hour. Well, that's because the Earth is 24,901 miles in circumference. And so it takes an entire day for it to make one revolution. And
well, you saw that there was that thing at the end where he was doing the flashlight
thing. Oh, yeah, and they proved him wrong. And he goes, interesting. They just showed he was lying and that he was full of shit. He goes, interesting. Refraction.
Yeah.
But yeah, he told them, these guys were going, look, how come when a boat disappears, you can zoom back in on it? Okay, well, how about if you have it disappear with the same thing you're zooming, because they see it disappear with their eyes, and then they zoom in on it with their telescope. And I'm like, okay, when the sun sets tonight, zoom in on that, bring it back. Well, it doesn't work like that because of something refraction, and they have these terms that they don't know what it means. They go, water always seeks its own level. Yeah, and it's okay because it's always being pulled towards the center of the earth, but you can't reason with him. It's pretty funny. But the one guy, he came to the Star Party. He'd argue and argue and argue. Oh yeah, and then on Monday he was out here telling people, oh, you guys got to join the astronomy club, check out the planets. They're actually real. And the people go, what? Of course they are. But yeah, it's pretty funny.
Awesome.